Hello there, World of Tankers. Welcome to the channel. I'm, of course, your host, World of Blitz, and in today's video, I'm going to be giving some advice on saving money in World of Tanks Blitz, and that would be under the Russian heavy tanks. There is a huge amount of Russian and Chinese premium heavies in World of Tanks Blitz. You've got vehicles like the T-2020, IS-6, IS-3 Defender, IS-5. Then you scroll over to China, you got vehicles like the 111, the 112-2, 112 Glacial. There's just so many Russian and, all these vehicles. The Object 252, I don't even know where that vehicle is, but it's obviously somewhere in this list. There's a huge amount of Russian and Chinese premium vehicles at tier 8. And the thing is they all carry the exact same gun. Now, the 252 is a little bit out of this comparison, but it's still a very similar gun. It's just about 420 damage, where all the other guns deal 400 damage per shot. They have the exact same damage per minute, penetration, aiming time, and accuracy. The 111 has a teeny bit better dispersion on move, but when's the last time you've actually seen this tank? It's really nothing spectacular. And that's what I have to say about all the Russian and Chinese premium heavy tanks, is none of them are really spectacular. Even a vehicle like the Object 252. The reason I didn't make a video on the 252 when it came out is just because I really don't care about it that much. Like, sure, it's a decent deal to get your hands on it. It is a great tank, but there's differences between a great tank and a fun tank. I usually like to make videos on very fun vehicles that I might not have tried yet, like the T20. I always make videos on something that I think is engaging for the viewer and as well me to do at the same time, because I don't want to do YouTube, obviously, do my job if it's not engaging to me. So the thing is, a lot of people always want to know if they should get the 252 or a vehicle like the 111-12 Glacial or the 112-2. And I say, yeah, it's a decent tank. You'll do pretty well in the 112-2. You'll do great in the Object 252. The Glacial is a very strong heavy tank. But the thing is that if you already own an IS-5, which I bet 90% of you already do, there's really no point to get another Russian heavy tank, even one like the Object 252. And the reason I say that is, sure, you'll be winning games in the Object 252. And if you do comp, I can understand why you'd want to get a vehicle like that. But why not get a tank like a T-54 E2 Shark? Or why not get a Carnarvon Action 10, a vehicle that is way more exciting? It's got very good mobility, super high damage per minute. Why not get a vehicle like a Progetto 46 or a Scorpion G? Why not get tanks that are exciting? The issue with the Russian heavies, and the reason I'd say save your money, is that, sure, they can be cheap. A vehicle like the WZ-111, I think it's come as cheap as like $15, $10 at some points. Trust me, there's a reason why they come so cheap. And there's a reason why no YouTuber really cares to make a video on them. It's because nobody cares about them. But there's always people that end up buying them. And I know there's some of you out there that have probably bought one of these tanks and you're like, man, this thing's really just, it's not the bee's knees. It's like stepping in tar and then getting stuck in it. They're really boring. And that's even true for the Object 252. You'll watch a video on it and you'll be like, man, this thing's amazing. It's got super good armor. It's got decent mobility, a super great gun. And then you'll play it and you'll play like 10 games in it and then you'll be like, okay, I'm bored. What's next? And that's the issue with these Russian heavies, is I never really find them exciting at all. It's just play, win, drive, play, win, and then you lose one game or two games. Then you're like, okay, whatever. It's very boring. It's like running an IS-4 at tier 10 20 games in a row. And you're like, wow, that was really boring. I'm glad I just wasted 2 hours of my day playing a tank and accomplishing absolutely nothing. The thing I find fun in Blitz is challenging gameplay. Playing a vehicle that's mobile, like the Leopard 1, which I'm posting a video on sometime. I don't know probably tomorrow morning. This video will be today's later video. I'm doing all my videos pre-recording for the 3-day drive to Colorado where we're moving. So yeah, big pain in the butt. Sorry for if there's any non-up-to-date videos. Thankfully, with the 3-day drive, we're getting home or to the house, I think, one day before update 8.0, I think it is, or whatever the 8, I think, comes out. So I'll still be able to make my review on the tanks. As you know, I've got like 15 million free XP, so that's always fun. But back to what I was saying. The reason I wanted to make today's video is advice on saving your money. Don't buy a premium vehicle because you think it's going to stat pad. And if you want to stat pad, at least buy something that's going to be fun while you do it. If you're going to buy a vehicle like the Object 252, sure, you might win a lot of games. But as I said, it's nothing exciting. It's just like this gameplay here. What I did in my WZ-111, you could have done in your Object 252. Did that seem all that exciting to you? No. And I'll put on the other game I played in it today. I just did these 2 games to show what it was like to play these tanks. But they're really nothing special. It's just like, okay, oh boy, I did stuff. Oh boy, I shot somebody. And then you bounce the shell and you're like, awesome. That's what I'd say. save up for a vehicle like a Progetto. And a lot of people always ask me, what are the best tier 8 premiums to save up for or to buy? Well, if I had to list them, I don't really know what I'd list them as, like in order, but just vehicles that are very strong are vehicles like the Centurion RAAC. Vehicles like, let's say, the Carnarvon Action 10, or the Mark I Defender. Very strong tanks there in the British tree. For Russia, I really don't love all the Russian tanks. I think they can be quite boring in tier 8. So there's probably like a Russian tank I'm missing out there that I do like, but currently there's not many I can think of just because, I don't know, it's just not coming to my mind. I'm sorry about that if there are any Russian tanks I missed out there. For Germany, there's vehicles like the Scorpion G that are a great deal. The unfortunate thing about the Scorpion G is Wargaming always asks it in crates, even like a year and a half after it's been out, which is a little bit absurd if you ask me, Wargaming. But yeah, there's a lot of great tanks you can get out there, and there's so many nations that have great tanks that are very fun. One tank that I can name from Russia I really do like is the STG Guard. It's a vehicle that a lot of people call terrible. I actually really like it, and the reason for that being is because it's such a unique vehicle. There's nothing like it you'll find in tier 8. Sure, you could say the 34-3 is a better version of it, but you can't say the 34-3 plays like it in any aspect, and because of that, I really like it. It's fast. It's got one of the best camo ratings in tier 8, especially for a medium. I think it does. It's really, really small, and it's got a troll turret, and with that ridiculous aiming time, you're able to snap shells as you're flanking, almost like a mobile tank destroyer. And that's how I've been able to utilize that high alpha and get over like an 83% win rate in the tank with over 130 games. It's not very hard to do well in a vehicle that's challenging to play as long as you understand the playstyle of that tank. And that's why, as I always say, I like to make videos on vehicles that are challenging to play, so hopefully you guys learn a thing or two. But yeah, that was the basics of today's video. I'm suggesting to stay away from vehicles that you think you'll do well in, so you'll buy it. I'm suggesting to buy vehicles that, if you're going to spend your hard-earned money on them, buy a tank that you think is fun. Buy a tank that you think will enjoy with friends and platoon mates. Something that will last a while, you know? Don't buy a tank that you're just going to stat pad in and raise your stats, and then when you drop them again, you have to go raise them again. That's not fun. Nobody has fun doing that. And if you're going to raise your stats, go buy a tier 7. Go buy a Smasher or an Annihilator, or, you know, go buy a Dracula. At least one of the overpowered tanks, even the Lupus. All those tanks always come for sale at least one time a year. Halloween, doesn't matter when, you can buy them. So that's my advice. Save your money, save your gold. Buy a vehicle that's good. Don't buy a vehicle that is, not good, but buy a vehicle that's fun. Don't buy a vehicle that you just want because it's a good vehicle that can get out the damage. And that's why I really want to talk about the Russian heavies. All the Russian heavies are exactly the same. If you own one, you own them all. So my advice, don't buy another Russian heavy tank if you already own one. Obviously, you can buy them like the KV-5. I wouldn't suggest to buy the KV-5, but if you wanted to buy something that's a little bit different, that's what I kind of mean. Hopefully, all of you enjoyed today's video. If you enjoyed it and you want to see more like it, or more opinions on how to save your money, how to spend it, please let me know in the comments down below. Actually, a great tank to get, if it ever comes out cheaper, would be the Mil 1951. I absolutely love this tank. It's super quick. Like, those are very fun tanks. Just the Russian tanks and the Chinese heavies, I just don't find anything spectacular about them. And onto the question of any great Russian heavies, actually, I don't really think there's any at tier 8, but hopefully all of you enjoyed today's video. I'll be seeing you in the next one. Bye-bye.